It's my life.
It's about creating an identity, about people working together.
Football is at the heart of the community.
There is a connection between players and supporters.
I even got married at Old Trafford. I've always lived for football.
My name's Mark Hathaway. I'm the matchday secretary at Marske United FC.
My name is Eddie McNamee, better known as Eddie Mac. I'm a member of the commercial team at Marske United.
My role is to establish our footprint within the community.
Starting to do the grounds work has got me a way back into football that I'd never even thought about.
I grew up in the Warrington area near Manchester, so I've obviously followed Manchester United since I was a little kid, like 7, and my first memory was watching Georgie Best and Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton.
Across for Law! Charlton going for a 1-2 and getting it! Oh, what a goal!
I absolutely love football. When I was growing up at school, the night before my O-levels, I was down the park with a geography book in my hand playing football. So I didn't give studies the best.
When I was 10 years old, I saw England win the World Cup. I then progressed and played football through village teams.
There's no doubt that this football club is punching way above its weight. You know, if it's seen the club go from step 7 in the Wearside League to step 3 in the Northern Premier League in 25 years, which in football is not a huge amount of time.
Matchday Castro, pound a ticket.
We think for us to be successful, getting the community behind us is key.
Everything the club does is based on not only what's good for the club, but what helps the community. And can we use the facilities? Can we get the community to use the facilities?
It's a small community. It's a fishing village, effectively. There's not a huge number of people who live in the village, but football is at the heart of the community.
I mean, everybody focuses on myself as far as, oh, the pitch is looking wonderful, Mark, but they don't see there are people that give up the time on the worst of days, weather-wise.
Effort and the time that they put in is second to none. It's good that we're getting more and more willing volunteers, and we're getting a lot of the young volunteers from the colleges and that.
Some of the work that we've done over the last sort of 1 to 2 years in particular has really enhanced Marske United within the community.
We have a lot of junior teams for the community. We're trying to get the under-13 girls set up.
We've done raffles and blind cards and everything for the schools, and then we've got our walking football, which continues to grow. You know, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, when people come along the village and want to go and try a Teesside Parmo, we will use the local pubs to have a drink before the game. And I think those businesses appreciate that, and we help the economy.
With the success, I think it's based a lot on what has happened on the pitch, really, plus the dedication of the volunteers off it.
All those things help grow the name of Marske United within the community, but also help, you know, the actual community themselves to become involved in Marske United.
Everything works together, and if one does well, then I think the others do well as well.
This year we've also got a Seaside of Sid mascot, which is an idea one of the volunteers come up with.
I'm Debbie Large. I'm just a matchday volunteer. In my spare time I have quite a lot of rest days and I do quite a lot of community volunteering. And I was recommended to join the Marske Community Partnership, and then I got involved in the Christmas Festival and various other community events from that. They have wanted me to do penalty shootouts at half time, but until I got my feet sorted, my feet were a bit loose, so I've got slippers on under. I've got slippers on and then the boots on, so they're a lot sturdier now. So Hartlepool have got Angus the monkey, and Middlesbrough have got Rory the lion, so I just thought thought we could have a mascot, and we were called the Seasiders, and we're a fishing village, so I thought Seasiders, that was the first name that came in my head.
Today we've got a Northern Premier League Premier Division game versus Marine, who are a team from over in Liverpool, and we're expecting probably about 400, 500 people, so we should be a lot of people here and we'll have a bit of good fun. The clubhouse open where people can have a beer and watch the TV and that. Then we've got the can bar here with the club shop where people can buy a beer, have it in decanted Marske United glasses, which are souvenir ones sometimes. People keep them, take home.
We've grown from one team a couple of seasons ago to 5 teams now. We hope to have maybe 8 or 9 teams next season. Got our first ever girls team, which has been driven by a local business lady who owns the Rose and Potter. She's really driven that forwards with the help of one of our existing coaches.
At the minute, the activities that are going on, we continually need to raise finance. As the club develops, then there's a greater expectation. We need to pay more wages. As you move up the divisions, your expectations of what you provide, both on the pitch and for the spectators, increases. So that is, quite expensive, and we're doing a lot of that with volunteers.
The community in Marske is really, it's always been there for the football club.
And I think from the club point of view, we need strong communities. People have got to support each other.
And for being such a small village, it's a main focal point. It's great for the community and the people of Marske that they have this facility here for them.
This year we've got just over 200 season ticket holders.
I think average crowds over 400. And to put that in comparison, Marske is a village of 8,000 people.
When I started watching the club in 2007, 2008, if we got a 3-figure crowd, we'd be pretty pleased. Now we're getting regular crowds of 400, 500 and more. So we've grown within the community. They want to see the team win.
There's people that just come up to us and say, "Oh, my uncle used to play for the football club," or "My granddad used to play," and it helps you get a sort of rapport with these people.
And the businesses support us, so they support us with things like prizes for race nights, sponsorship. So things like the defib was paid for by a member of the village, which is there for the benefit of the village. It's not just for the benefit of the football club, it's there for the benefit of the village. And that's what everything I try to do is about, building a stronger village.
We're now playing in the Northern Premier League, the 7th tier of English football.
Which is the highest I've ever got in the history, which is, testament to the hard work that's going on off the pitch as well as on the pitch.
I think some of the fans have been disappointed that we haven't done as well as they thought we would do. We went on a very bad run of losing so many consecutive matches. We had trouble with vandalism of the floodlights. We had 2 or 3 matches called off through that. A couple of matches called off through frost. Each year we've been up there challenging, we've been promoted, we always win at home as a rule, and that hasn't happened. And we're having to scrap for our lives at the moment. But on top of not winning and then not having a home game for 7 or 8 weeks, people got out of the habit of coming. I think some of the fans don't see what's behind the scenes, don't see what's involved. They don't see all of that, but it does take its toll on the players at this level. They're not professional footballers, they have jobs to do in between playing football, and it's hard. Yes, the fans are disappointed, but when you talk to them about the difficulties the club are experiencing in the step up to the higher league, they then start to be less critical and more understanding. And it's just now starting to pick up again. The last couple of months we've only been at top 200s, 300, but the last few matches now we're into the 400s, getting towards 500 again on a night. It's quite something really when you see 500 people in a small ground like this. It'd be nice to stay up this season and just consolidate in this league.
Retaining our status at the level that we're at the moment.
So you need to get into the younger age group to get them involved in football, and the girls as well.
And I think as a more sort of general point is to try and still increase our our reach in the local community.
We need the community to be involved. We need volunteers that we have, we need new volunteers, we need extra volunteers, and I think the club go out of the way to make people feel very appreciated for what element of time they give, whether it's an hour or a day, it doesn't matter. Everybody's appreciative of what people do. But you talk to some of the, what I call the old timers here that seem to have been here forever, they always say, Mask gets nothing, Redcar always gets everything. I wouldn't say it's deprivation as such. Any facilities that we seem to have, Mass seem to have created those themselves. We're always trying to create more facilities so more people can become involved with the club. The clubhouse gets used by elderly groups, cards, bingo, dominoes.
You know, Marske, with it being a small village, there's not the huge opportunities there.
Like if people around Marske need to go and do 3 or 4G, something like that, then they have to go to Redcar. People travel to Middlesbrough for the sports villages and that because there's nothing over here.
Is there room for more? I'm quite sure there is. But it needs funding from central government, which potentially isn't a priority at the moment for them.
But there are pockets of Marske where people will be struggling, and in today's climate will be really struggling. So we need to help in whatever way we can with that. We support things like food banks to make sure that those support mechanisms are in place. And I think sometimes the very fact that you've got a football club and it's doing reasonably well and brings some interest in, that allows people to divert their attention towards that for at least part of the week when things are not as good as they could be. So the driving force behind me volunteering is that when I retired, before I retired, I saw the London Olympics and I saw the impact that volunteers had on the event. I decided that I needed to do something.
I always remember my dad went to school with no shoes on, and my same dad later on, he used to tell me to go and get all the kids off the street, fill the minibus up and take them swimming, buy them a breakfast to make sure they didn't go hungry. I'm driven back just in memory of my dad, really.
So I volunteered at the Rugby Union World Cup in 2015, the Cricket World Cup up in Durham, the Cycling Championships, and this was just a natural extension of me wanting to make things better for others.
And there's no difference between anybody, I'm no different than the person who's serving the teas away. I'll muck in and I'll do things. Even though you've got a title, it doesn't make no difference what you are.
Because I passionately believe that it's only us as people that can change our destination and change what our environment looks like, what our situation is, what our finances look like, and whatever. It's down to us as individuals. Nobody's going to do that for us, so we need to take the lead on that.